Six Gun Productions. New media, new rules.
This is Geek News Radio. Broadcast 51 for Friday, December 8th, 2017. Mexican standoff with turtles.
You're listening to Geek News Radio, episode 51. I'm Dave in Birmingham.
I'm Mike in Scaries.
And I'm Fab in Hamburg. Hello.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
It's back. We're back.
We're back.
Stop.
It's back.
It's the 3/4 of the Vier Feldherren.
Yeah, we actually planned to record with Joe as well, but he had to jump out.
Yeah.
He's had a hell of a few months. So
But he has given us his progress so we can update you as well.
yeah, it's the same progress that I have.
Sort of, yeah. So on this episode, we're going to be chatting about various things. We've got, first, what are we drinking? Almost fucked up the format of the show there.
Oh, nice save. I am currently holding a very cold Stella Artois. Because that's what I had in the main fridge. Somehow, communist terrorists have turned off my fridge up here in the office. Could be because it's empty. I don't. But you know, I can neither confirm nor deny that there is currently a void. My little husky. So
That's not good. Fab, what do you have?
I still do not have a fridge in my hobby room. I now have. I built a cupboard in here where I can put all the shit in, but I still haven't done that. I'm drinking a huge peppermint tea.
Whoa.
With honey because I've been sick and I need to rest and recover my voice.
Whoa. And I have a huge old-fashioned because I apparently do not understand how to measure things. Deeply irresponsible for a Wednesday evening.
Well, if in doubt, make it big.
Go big or stay home.
I'm a bit envious. Yeah, you can tell how when I'm really sick, when I'm drinking tea without rum in it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like, if it's a podcast without alcohol, like Fab's ill.
I mean, tea and honey, that's the big guns out there, you know. So, oof.
Yeah, I figured out that peppermint tea with a ton of honey, spoons and spoons full, is the best thing I can do. If my voice is starting to go.
Nice.
That's pro podcasting advice here. Yeah, so what are we going to talk about on the show, Dave, since you started with that?
We have many things. You're going to talk about a bit of a redesign to the Six Gun site. There's chat about Sabaton plans. There's something called Little Steven. I don't know what that is. I think he's a person. I think he went to a gig. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to laugh at Apple and Mac OS because, oh my God, it's hilarious. And then the meat of the show is Warhammer chat because it's the best chat.
For the Emperor.
Yeah, you will have to update me on this because I'm woefully out of it. I had a... Oh, God.
When Fab was making the show notes, it was just there's some stuff, and then just the other things, basically. Just fill in the details. Here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's basically just stuff I saw randomly on Twitter and then all the other stuff because I've been... Oh God, I've had such my work's weeks, months been just horrible. I've had no time, and I'm theoretically I have time to do stuff on the train ride,
Yeah, but that's
to and from work. And I actually, most of the time, I even have internet, even if it's slow, so I could read up on stuff, but I don't want to. Like, on the way there, I mostly listen to Sabaton, trying not to think about work. And I'm on the way back, I mostly listen to Sabaton and am
try not to
sleeping.
think about work.
No, I'm sleeping, yeah.
Fair. Actually, like, bit to preempt the kind of Warhammer stuff, but I found that Twitter is actually the best place for all of the Warhammer news and stuff.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk later about they have like a mini they put out because of like their Facebook likes.
Yeah,
And
but,
when-
like, so as I was kind of researching like the things, and I was like trying to look up a guy's name like in the lore, Twitter was the most useful thing to find anything, because like Google News stuff, I don't know, it feels like Warhammer is just niche enough that Google News isn't tremendously useful for this kind of thing. But the first thing,
Well, I find this really funny because after them being non-existent, and I'm still used to like the old Games Workshop being
still
non-existent.
totally just like so weird to see them kind of like interact with people, like take the piss out of people, like have kind of a quite bants corporate image rather than a kind of like serious like we're making games, and like nope, we're gonna answer people's questions on Facebook in really silly ways.
But still answer them. Yeah.
But first, Fab, you've been doing stuff to the website.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do this for a long time, so I've rolled out a new theme. And as I say this, I'm queuing up the site, even though I know what it looks like.
Same.
I hope people like it. It's not finished yet. I'm still working on it, but
Yes,
I
you
wanted
can pimp the shows better.
Yeah, I wanted something more flexible. I think I want to start a blog again on there. And we need stuff for the for the big plan for 2018 is of course the Patreon integration into every centimeter of the
It's
website.
literally every other word is going to be a secret link to the Patreon. There's going to be like full page banner ads. We're going to have pop-ups. We're going to have like those modal things that pop up, which is like, just like, is it Medium that has it? Like, just before you start reading this thing, would you please like to read this advert? I'm like,
Yeah. And it's gonna expand, like, it's gonna, as soon as you highlight a word, it's gonna expand like a bubble and tell you like, you highlighted
find out more.
Firefox. Do you want to buy a Fox onesie?
Oh yeah. Good. So we're gonna have like Amazon kind of integration, like Ubuntu does. So like everything you search in the search bar is actually gonna like take you to an Amazon page where you can buy things with affiliate links.
Yeah, basically.
It's pretty much the plan.
So I've actually, before we started this show, I've been working on the show notes for episode 50 because we record a lot of shows and I'm like woefully behind with releasing them. And those are the first show notes I've been doing in the new design. And I figured out I can put like, what are these like font awesome icons in there now? So
Font awesome icons.
there's gonna be a lot of awesome stuff coming to the show notes.
Yes, you can put like GitHub logos and Twitter logos and stuff in.
Yep.
It's cool. I dig it. There was one bit of feedback about it in the Discord that like I cannot now unsee, is that there are serif fonts and there are sans serif fonts.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just like now I have noticed that. I'm just like, oh man, that's no serifs, no serifs.
Well, I did the classic thing. Well, it's kind of lots of people have been doing that. So I took a really bold sans serif font, and I'm using that for all the headlines and everything.
Yeah.
And I took a serif font and used that for the text.
My real question, Fab, is where is the call to action? Like, where's the button that says subscribe to the Patreon?
It says in the sidebar, it says subscribe to Geek News Radio.
You need like a big...
It's red. It glows when you mouse
one of those
over.
like bars at the bottom that scrolls with you. So as you scroll down the page, like it stays there. So it's like subscribe.
Well,
Boom.
the header does that. People didn't like that. So I asked for feedback in the Discord. I was, like the first feedback was, I like it, but I don't like these things. And these things were basically the headline font, the banner, like the header, So basically everything I've changed. Although on the serif sans serif thing, right? There's something I just noticed now. Like everything in the sidebar is sans serif. I'm not sure I like that.
No, because it doesn't fit with the theme of things that aren't titled are serif.
I can change that though. Like
you have the power.
Well, the thing is, like, this theme I use is more like a theme template. It's really cool, actually. You can, it's from the company I buy all my themes from, and it's like it uses the WordPress customizer heavily. So you basically can customize everything in there. It's really cool. So I'm gonna be playing with it. Don't get used to like serif fonts being where they are. I might switch everything around.
I put a new theme on my website as well.
You did? Oh, I have to look it up then.
It's still got hexagons. I think it's actually the...
Otherwise it wouldn't be you. Oh,
Yeah,
davidmm.org. Your connection is not secure. The
Fuck's
owner
sake.
of davidmm.org has configured their website improperly.
Oh man, just put like, don't be a baby, put www dot at the front of it, okay?
To protect your information from being stolen, Firefox has not connected to this website.
Oh, for fuck's sake, let's encrypt, let's
Danger
it-
to society, Dave. That's you, man.
put
That's,
that in the bin. Right, if you can be bothered to, like, I don't know, ignore...
I like the hexagon icons
Yeah.
for the social networks.
It's nice, that's good, it links to stuff, it links to my Pinterest page where I have done literally nothing. But yeah, I did that too. It took me ages to add the links because you have to edit a text file to click like the social media stuff.
Ah, yeah, it's
Like,
Ghost, right?
yeah, it's like, man, just configure this form. Oh, can there not just be a setting somewhere to do that? But yeah, as I've proved, I'm inept at websites. So yeah.
So you, my friend, have sans serif fonts in the headlines and serif fonts in the text.
I do.
Proving again that that's how we do things now.
It's just that's just the way. That's just like life. But you know.
I love your header image, that Eve Citadel, whatever
it's
that
good.
is.
It's
That's
like
brilliant.
I've discovered that there is an issue like with the website theme that like if you use a non sort of traditional size of web page, so like if it's full screen on my screen, it looks fine. If I kind of like weirdly shrink the page, like the image kind of like loops around and it doesn't really work.
Well, don't weirdly shrink pages. Is the lesson here.
I think I basically have to upload a
And
higher
always
resolution
go-
thing. I have to upload like a 10,000 by 10,000 pixel image, and then like no matter what screen you open it on, it'll be fine. But
And always go www.
yeah, never forget the triple W. Like that's first rule of the internet.
Welcome to the 90s.
Yeah, I might just make it so that it just doesn't go anywhere if we don't put the just to be really awkward, so no one ever reads the block. Yeah. That was website chat. The big thing
Nice.
is Operation Soap. Mike, what's happening with Operation Soap?
It kind of slipped out of my grasp. I feel a bit blindsided here. I will just take a few seconds to consult the big brain in the sky and see if I can figure out what this Operation Soap is.
Why is it called Operation Soap? Who came up with that?
Well, because in the show notes it's called Sabaton Open Air Plans, and that's soap.
Yes. Okay.
Well,
now I'm back on.
basically the question is, what are we doing for Sabbath and Open Air?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The cat's out of the bag. I have announced it to the people who will join us. So I can make it public here as well. So as the planets and stars have aligned, it will be my 40th birthday on the 18th of August 2018, where Sabaton are headlining their own festival in Falun in Sweden. And it will be basically myself, Fab, Dave, and my good friends from Denmark who will attend said event. And I think we will have a jolly good time. So
Are there still tickets available?
I believe so.
still tickets available, and I will probably make some kind of note for sort of, my wider family and acquaintances to say that that's where I'm gonna be on my 40th birthday, and if they feel like coming to a power metal festival in the middle of Sweden, then they're very welcome.
Well, I'm just asking because somebody might listen to this. One of our 4 listeners might think,
yeah,
I would like doing that. So I guess if you're going to Sabaton Open Air next year, drop us a line. We can meet up and you can buy us alcohol.
I think it will be a fabulous Geek News Radio meet and greet event if you can find me in the mosh pit. That is, but still, it'll be really good fun. Like,
oh God, I'm not standing next to Mike when Night Witches start.
I can't remember who, but someone in Discord was saying, "Oh, I know, it's only 2.5 hours from their house or whatever. It'd be super shame it's not convenient for the Geek News Radio people to go to it." And I was like, "Is it not convenient?"
Well, fuck convenience. It's Sabaton.
I have been known to fly for Sabaton, and now I'm just increasing that distance.
Yeah. Oh, but seriously, that's where they're from. This is their backyard. We're basically standing where they were running around as kids, playing, more or less. So it must be a special event, because
to the sky,
to the sky.
I was watching. They released from this year. They released a drone video on Facebook during they were playing Carolus Rex in Swedish, of course. And it looked amazing. The crowd was so huge. It's gonna be great.
And I mean,
it's gonna be awesome.
The funny thing is, this started as they used that area to do a launch party for the Art of War. I think it was that they organized themselves, and then it was such a big success that then they went, okay, let's do it again next year. And that's they've been doing that for 10 years.
It's great. I'm still hoping for Creator to be announced.
Yeah, so we have
they're on their North American tour, so it might happen.
You never know. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a Sepultura that you're excited about. There's Ogun, which I'd never said the name of the band out loud until now. They're kind of folky and stuff. They're pretty legit.
From Germany, I think.
Yeah, there's Svartzot, who are fucking... I call them penny whistle metal because they're folk metal, but they've got a tiny little whistle that they sort of play folky tunes on. I like them. They're legit. Battle Beast are there, so they're going to be super hype. There's a band called Bombus.
Yeah.
They've got a hella good name and a cool font.
You know that... is that Bombus?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bumblebee. The scientific name for a bumblebee is Bombus. So Bombus terrestris is the one that's under. We have those here.
That's legit.
And they're under protection. That's why I know this. Yeah.
There's Thunder Mother, who I've listened to on Spotify, and they're kind of traditional heavy metal kind of stuff. They seem pretty rad. Other people are Beast in Black, who I've never heard of. They certainly look like a band. They're wearing black, they've got long hair, banging. We've got Primal Fear, who are solid. We've got Eileen. They are also a band with a lady who sings. So, oh my god, they're wearing waistcoats.
Progressive symphonic metal. It's very good.
You've got me sold on that.
Well, I'm okay as long as Accept's not playing.
There is a Hungarian folk metal band called Dalrida.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
I've not heard of those. There's an old man in the band, or he's in the video. There's lots of twiddly accents and stuff in their song names. And there's a band called Hulkoff.
Yeah, Hulkoff.
Which is just such a fucking cool name.
He's from Sweden as well, isn't he?
He looks like he's from Sweden.
I think he's from. They said in the announcement they know this guy for ages.
I mean, I'm looking at Hulkoff.
His name's Per.
Yeah.
So he's Swedish.
Definitely Swedish. I think he might be not part of the band then.
He's from
call him
Karungi.
So, are you familiar with the outdoor clothing brand Fjallraven?
Yeah.
Fjeldreven, yeah.
He looks.
How do you say that?
lot-
Can you say that again?
Fjeldreven.
How do you say that? You know, on the backpack, it also says there's a second word.
like Kanken.
Kenken. How do you?
Oh, I don't know what that is. That's
But
some strange Swedish stuff.
this Hulkoff lad looks like he's just advertising their clothing to me. He's just like, this is like some crazy guy who's like, yeah, I'm going to go for a 400-mile walk in an afternoon, and I got my Fjallraven backpack with me.
Well, since I know what you mean. The beard is
And he's just wearing like a weave. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. He seemed very outdoorsy.
well, since you're basically a walking advertisement for North Face, you could like kind of team up.
Yeah. So that's the plan.
I've looked him up, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen a picture where he's on stage, and he's wearing the brand Helly Hansen.
Yeah.
He's wearing a logo that looks like it's theirs, but it says Taliban Hillfighter.
What the fuck? He sounds strange. There's a photo of him with a wolf. Jesus. This man's strange. But we are going to be like staying vaguely locally, I believe.
Yeah, my friends and I, the Danish contingent, have decided to go a bit luxury this time. So we've booked in on First Hotel, which is about a kilometer away. Festival site.
I think I should do that too. We need to sort that out. I need to.
That's where I'm going to be as well.
I want to do luxury.
Fuck camping at a festival. That can go
I
away.
don't mind the camping, but I was just like, I'm saving up for this, and it is my 40th birthday.
You can do it in style.
I'm worth it.
I'm gonna do glamping. Glamping.
Turn up on the fucking yurt.
Actually, this is 2018 is gonna be amazing because very, very good friends of ours from Hamburg are marrying also in summer, I think in July. And they've decided, this is the greatest idea ever. They've decided that their marriage celebrations, whatever, they're gonna do a festival.
Whoa.
So they have like friends who are peasants, basically.
What?
You know, they have an agricultural, I don't know what they grow, whatever. They have like it used to be like a farm, I don't know. But they have outdoor space in the north there somewhere. And so they're going to have a festival. They sent us the invitations like last week. You know the German festival Rock am Ring?
Yes.
Which means rock ring is the race course thing. So they called it Ring am Finger, which means ring on the finger.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the puns.
And they have like festival rules, whatever. It's gonna be great.
Awesome.
We're gonna rent a caravan. It's gonna be great.
Sweet.
This will be the festival summer next year. I love it. It's gonna be great.
Excellent.
I'm just sitting here looking at Holgoff's Facebook page, which features they're quite clearly Viking metal. There's a very bad looking Viking.
Oh
sticker.
yeah, it looks very Skyrim.
And then there's a Viking Odin with an assault rifle.
Nice.
And there's also Joachim with a shotgun.
With a shotgun, yes. So very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Looks good. Like that shotgun.
Yeah, my blood brother Jokke Brodin came up north for visits. Get equally badass in your own Valhalla shirt.
I want screw the shirt. I want that shotgun.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
That guy
so
looks like it looks like a Viking metal, but he also looks like a hipster. The what do you call it? The fucking the
hipster policeman.
No, the tree cutting hipster shit. Oh god, my brain's full of
a hippie.
No,
hippie. Hippie Hulk off. No.
Yeah, no.
Hipster by day, Viking by night.
What do you call people who cut down trees for a living?
Tree surgeon?
Tree surgeon.
Lumberjack.
Lumberjack. Yes, he looks like, you know, the lumberjack hipsters.
Oh, right, with the plaid shirts. And
Yeah, that's what he looks like in the forest, you know, with the axe.
I think if you call him a lumberjack hipster, he's gonna introduce the axe to you, like
Probably.
literally in your neck. So, I think maybe a lumberjack Viking is maybe more precise.
Okay, I'm gonna call him a lumberjack Viking so he doesn't kill me.
Yeah.
He's gotta be.
Thank you.
He should be careful though. He's gonna take an arrow to the knee, otherwise.
he's very scary.
I used to be a metal singer and I took an arrow to the knee. Anyway.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have much fun, and I'm very happy that such good, fine folk as yourselves and my Danish metal friends will be there.
It's gonna be great, and there's gonna be a lot of what's that? Forgot it.
Rødgrød med fløde.
Roll, yes. Roll med flow.
Yeah.
Gotta eat a lot of that. Speaking of concerts and me blowing my eardrums out, I went to a concert here in Hamburg the other week. Little Steven and the Disciples of Soul. If you're like Dave and you have no idea who Little Steven is, Little Steven Van Zandt. You might know him from such TV shows as The Sopranos,
Okay.
or Lillehammer.
That's a place in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lillehammer is a show he did where, like, he played this guy who ran the nightclub in The Sopranos.
Right.
And after that ended, he had this idea of basically it's not officially the same character, but it's the same character who like sells out a mafia guy in New York, and then he goes to Lillehammer. It's a great show. It's very funny, and some people might also know him as the guitarist from the E Street Band, the guy with the bandana. And he's been doing this Disciples or so. He mostly did this during the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and then didn't went on tour for a while. And I've actually never seen him solo, never seen him without Bruce. And I must say it was a great concert. He is amazing. I knew that he knows a lot about music. He has a radio show. I don't think it's going anymore, but I used to listen to this when I was in uni. It's called Little Steven's Underground Garage. So he knows lots of like underground bands and shit. He knows a lot about rock and roll. And he was doing kind of a like history of rock and roll thing. And I really liked his attitude. So he was saying like in the 80s, we took all the like in the 80s we took all the politics on stage because we thought we had to, because nobody in the US was being political.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of shady shit going on. He says these days there's no shady shit going on. It's all like right in your face.
Yeah.
So he said, so we're not going to take the politics on stage. What we're going to do is like, this is going to be like 2 hours of sanctuary from the crazy world outside. We're just going to play some rock and roll. And he was like, he's got the same thing going that Bruce is going. It's like, we're gathering here in one of the churches of our religion of rock and roll. And then he kept going on about like how Hamburg is like one of the holy cities of rock and roll because, of course, of the Beatles.
Yeah.
And it was great. He had I'm going to put a picture in the show notes or two, but it's like this was in the Fabrik where I saw Stoppock as well. It's a great venue. It's like really small. It used to be like a factory, but it's like really old school. It's like wooden beams everywhere. And he had this band like with a bass player, guitarist, and a drummer, but then he also had like 3 background singers.
Sweet.
A keyboard player, a piano player who looked like Einstein. I think he was about 100. And then like I think a 4-piece brass band.
Oh, nice.
And a percussion guy. And like they all didn't fit on stage. They had to put them like on the side. It was bloody amazing. They played like he has an album out which this tour was for, called Soulfire, and this is full of like classics and stuff. He played like Down and Out in New York City, which is like if you know the Shaft theme.
Yeah,
I think it's James Brown. It's kind of that same thing. They played like for, I don't know, 15 minutes, and like each one of the brass guys was playing like a solo. One had like, there's those huge ass saxophones.
Yeah.
They even bass saxophones or whatever. They're huge. It was just really cool. He's a cool guy. I mean, I knew he was a cool guy. He's kind of like the most human from the E Street Band guys. He feels like the most just normal person still.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, I didn't know that he was such a good, I kind of knew, but I hadn't like seen him. You know how you theoretically know that somebody's a really good musician until you see him?
Mm-hmm.
Because like in the E Street Band, you can't tell. There are too many guitars. And I've actually been to a concert. The only time Bruce ever stopped a song was when Stevie was completely out of whack. Like, just starts playing the song, and Bruce starts singing. He's like, okay, we gotta stop this. He's like, Stevie, you gotta start over.
Yeah.
But he's really good. He's a great band. Like the three background singers were amazing. One of them had like an afro that was as big as like a truck tire.
Nice.
It's amazing.
How was he standing upright?
I don't think they were standing upright. Like if you look on the picture I put in the show notes, they're on the right. Like you can see one of the background singers on the very right, and so her afro must have hit like the beams at the top. It was huge.
That was the support structure for her hair.
Yeah. I really liked the rhythm guitarist he had. It was a really cool guy who's playing a Telecaster. He was just like quite, you know when you have these like guitarists, rhythm guitarists, you're not like the star of the band. You're just in the back and playing whatever you're really important, because if you fuck up, it's gonna fall apart. But usually they're just like in the background, and he was just like rocking out, like he was really having fun, just playing the songs. So I kept looking over to him, and then at some point he saw me, that I saw him having fun, and he was like laughing, and I was like waving. I loved stuff like that. I love going to concerts. It was great. Even though my left ear is fucked now because I was standing right under the line array again. But
gotta invest in some earplugs.
Fuck earplugs, man.
Gotta look after your hearing, man.
Yeah, you would have to, Fab, but even from somebody like me,
I'm almost 40. It's over now, man.
Yeah, you say that, but it's just I've just met so many people around my age group that have been doing the "if it's too loud, you're too old" thing, and now they're kind of regretting it. So
okay, I'm gonna bring earplugs to the Sabaton gig.
Good
lad.
Yeah. Health and safety first, boys and girls.
Happy now, mom and dad.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Christ, you guys.
Who would have thought that Fab turned out to be the most metal of the two of us? Huh? I mean, how did that happen? I don't know.
So, Dave, let's laugh about macOS. What have they done?
So, someone yesterday posted on Twitter saying, "Oh man, like if you just like try logging in, like specifically what's actually the you hit okay, you're on macOS High Sierra, which is the latest version of macOS, which is a stupid name.
High bullshit, as I like to call it.
Yeah. You're on that. You're in the login screen. And what happens is you press the button that says login like a couple of times. I don't actually say how many times, but you press it a couple of times. And then you can just like log in as the root user with an empty password. Which is ridiculous. It's like, okay, cool. So like anyone can just turn up to your PC and go, okay, log in, root, and then just enter. And then it just works, which is ludicrous. And it's actually worse than this, because what it's doing is it's kind of like setting the root password. So you say root and enter, and then it sets the password to whatever was in the password field. So the actual bug that like initially got like posted around is even worse than that. It's like someone logs in with a root password, but they also simultaneously set the root password to be whatever they just typed in the box, which gives them like complete local access, like complete access to the machine. Also, because it like happens on like the kind of login interface, it happens on remote desktops as well. So if you've got like the remote login enabled, you can do it through that. It's fucking awful. Like I don't fucking understand how they did it.
I think it must be a feature. It's macOS, right? It's very secure. This must be.
So
I'm with Jan Wildeboer, by the way, who posted a GIF of baby Groot dancing in his flower pot, and says this bug needs to be called "I am Root."
Nice, good name for it. It's ridiculous. I can't really like imagine how that bug even got written. Like, I find it difficult to imagine how you would write something that would result in that weird behavior. But it's kind of terrible. Fuck's sake, lads.
It must be like a check error, right? Must be
it's gonna be something like, you know, if something equals something, and they meant double equals when they typed single equals or something.
Wasn't there like a bug on macOS some time ago like that, where they just had two? What was it? 2 equals or something? Oh god.
No. So there was something in the Linux kernel quite a while back, where someone tried to introduce like a privilege escalation by changing a double equals to equals. Mac OS had was it in something in the like wireless stack that was like a one-line error. It's like a one. So you can write if statements, like if and then a clause, and then normally like in C like languages you use curly brackets to curly braces to kind of say do this thing if that statement is true.
Oh no, what I meant was go to fail.
Yeah, it was that thing. It was I think it was that, like, because that's normally how you do an if statement, but you can do a one-line if statement, which is just basically like if you don't put the brackets.
What were we talking about that last show?
The next logical line will be executed if that statement's true, and they basically kind of like, I think they fucked it up, and it was supposed to be in brackets, so there's supposed to be like 2 lines that happened or something like that, something surrounding that issue. But yeah, like I don't understand like how this stuff kind of like gets past code review or anything, and like gets shipped. I mean, some people have been like theorizing on Hacker News that like maybe it's some ridiculous like debug thing that they accidentally left in the build because it's not in previous builds. It's not in previous versions of the OS.
I think code reviews is just like people, you know, they read stuff and they want it to be right, and then it just doesn't, like, you know, if you're not
it's like a
paying attention 100%.
Login window, like, oh man, this is like a one-line change, it'll be fine. Which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like when you do code review and you read people's stuff and you don't notice mistakes because mistakes are hard to, like, mistakes in code are hard to get. Like, if you're following along, you're like, yeah, this makes sense. Well, so the go to fail thing was they had code and they had a double line. That one line said go to fail, and then the next one said go to fail as well.
Okay.
So they had, it's like an if statement, and then it's supposed to say go to fail, and then the next if statement.
Yeah.
But it says go to fail and then go to fail again. So I guess it will always fail. I don't know.
Something like that.
It was an SSL bug.
Oh yeah, that was it, wasn't it? That even if your even if the SSL like didn't check out, it just accepted it as like good. That was the bug. That was a while ago. Oh my god. So yeah, Apple fucked up again.
So much for Apple always being better.
Yeah. Good thing I bought a Google phone.
Yeah, Google doesn't make any programming mistakes.
No, they've never made any mistakes, so I don't know what you're talking about.
They're like Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk is perfect. He's never done anything.
Infallible.
Exactly. I'm glad we're speaking on the same wavelength. Thinking. That's the phrase.
Isn't he just a very enthusiastic tech nerd with a lot of money on his hands?
That's the thing. Like, he's not like tech Jesus. He's just like a guy who has ideas but also has money. Like, he's just like, he has these ideas, and like most people have these ideas. Like, man, hacked our brains or something. But he's like, what if we hacked our brains and I've got $1 billion to spend? So yeah, I can see why Fab gets angry, but I'm also like, yeah, he'll get it. He'll come up with something useful maybe one day. Maybe he'll reinvent the bus. Maybe he'll be like, man, what if we had self-driving cars, but like there was more than one occupant, and they stopped regularly on some sort of route, and he'll have like reinvented the bus.
Oh, fuck the bus.
Yeah, the buses are terrible, man. I'm back on the buses now. It's just.
Can't you just buy? I don't know. You just got money. Just do what I would do if I had money, like buy a lot of motorcycles, and, you know.
I thought you were gonna say rocket buses.
A recording studio. I wouldn't build rockets. I would just, buy a big house, buy a boat, buy a plane.
Once you've done that,
get
that's
my
really quick.
pilot's license,
really...
get a helicopter license.
Those things take longer.
A lot of time. Get a license for a 747. Buy a 747.
So you're basically like become Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah. No, I want to become Bruce Springsteen. This is a cooler Bruce. I just want a 747 because
that's fighting talk there. A cooler Bruce than Bruce Dickinson?
I think he owns every motorcycle and every car that's worth owning. That's as cool as it gets.
But can he fly a plane? And is the plane called Ed Force One?
He pays people.
Was he an Olympic fencing champion as well?
Yeah.
No. Why is that cool?
Because it's ridiculous that he represented the UK in fencing and is also in Iron Maiden.
Okay.
Bonkers.
Fencing is boring. I just want a 747 because I want to have this thing. So maybe I don't want a 747. Maybe I want one of those Hercules lifting planes.
Right. Yeah.
Because I want
I
want a 747.
Okay.
And a truck.
Okay.
And a car, so I can drive the car into the truck.
And then the truck into the plane.
And the truck into the plane. That would be amazing.
What if you had a Chinook and you drove the car into the truck and then you lifted the truck with the Chinook? Would that do the job?
That would probably do the job, but the plane would be cooler.
Okay.
Also, I want a tank. I really want a tank. Tank would be cool.
Okay, Joachim.
Don't you want a tank?
Okay, it's true. I do want a tank.
Maybe just a little one.
Tiny tank.
And since you can't own a tank in Germany, I would have to own lots of land. So I can have a tank that's just on the land and the government can't say anything about it.
You shall not touch my tank.
Yeah, I would
I
probably
just see you there.
have my own republic. My own country. The sovereign country of Tankistan.
Tankistan. I can just see you behind the wooden fence, on your little parcel there, while the German tax inspector is going but you must pay tax. You're a German citizen. No, I am the Emperor of Tankistan.
I should tear up my passport.
Yeah.
Screw you. Fly in Sabaton, have a gig in Tankistan. Tankistan open air.
Yes, please, somebody make it happen.
Once I'm the Supreme Emperor of Tankistan, every citizen of Tankistan will have their own tank.
Yeah. It is a household item.
Indeed.
It's a human right in Tankistan.
It's a human right.
No fucking electric cars. Tanks are the future.
But I guess the shells are only handed out to the police. It's not complete, anarchy.
Well, no, if everybody has the same tank, it's kind of okay, You know how tanks are usually, withstand their own, you know what I mean? You really have to have a weaker tank. If you have a gun, if you have a tank gun on your tank, right?
Yeah.
You design your tank so it can withstand a hit from that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, so everyone else is going to be immune to your tank.
I don't know. It'll be like World of
This
Tanks.
sort of assumes that everyone in Tankist lives in their tank 24. That they never leave their tank and are never vulnerable to like having their house shelled by like someone they pissed off.
Actually, now that you say that,
Yeah.
like
You're like, man, that sounds great. I should live in a tank forever.
if you demilitarize a tank, like if you take out all the weapons and shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to still have the barrel, otherwise it'll look stupid. But like if you do that and
turn it into a camper van.
yeah, there must be enough. Like in a modern tank, there must be enough space in there. That'd be an amazing camper van. It'd be really good. It's a good off-road as well.
Are you planning this for
Yeah,
summer
I'm
festivals?
going to Falloon. The paperwork's gonna be a bitch. So I need to talk to the German police. Need to talk to the guys in Denmark. Mike can help me with that, right?
Yeah, I'll talk to a few people in Maersk. We have experience transporting tanks. So
And then I'm gonna the Swedish people. I just need to transit to the summit. No man. By the way, speaking of tanks, the other day I was going by train to Hanover out of Hamburg, and if you leave Hamburg to the south. You basically go through the port, and then on the other side of the port in Harburg, there's a huge. You go past a huge train terminal. This is where all where the ships are unloaded. You know, and then they put all the containers on trains.
Yeah.
And there was this train, like in the middle of the there are lots of rails where usually they have trains that are waiting, or sometimes they're stored there. There was a train there with 4. Leopard 2 tanks on there, and a few one of those the troop transport things, several of those, but 4 Leopard. They didn't look like they were guarded or anything.
Why didn't you steal them, fam?
I was in a fast high-speed train going by. I wasn't prepared for the train job. If I
can just see you there with your nose up against the window, like a child.
Yeah, I was doing that. Yeah.
Driver, stop the train.
Yeah. Father Christmas flying by with his Christmas present.
If I had a Chinook helicopter, I would have called that in. Quick, we've got 4 tanks here.
Boys, can you do a little bit of lifting here for me? You know, there's some stuff I would like to move.
I'm confiscating these tanks in the name of the supreme nation of Tankistan.
This
Never
sounds like a
get Faber
terrible Austin
helicopter.
Powers film.
I think somebody should write the screenplay for this. Who talked about Geek News Radio fan fiction? Wasn't there?
Oh yeah. Somebody requested that. Yes.
Yeah. So we just need to find somebody mad enough. Sure. As long as we don't have to perform ourselves.
We just perform as each other, and Dave, starring Dave as Fab.
So who would you get? Which actor would you get to be you?
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm picking Tom Hardy.
Okay. So we're being that unrealistic. I'm gonna go for Chris Hemsworth.
Well, he could do a good Dave, I think. Yeah.
Mike.
I don't know, John Lithgow or something. Sort of the guy that stands and shouts in the face of insanity or something. Yeah, I don't know. Health and safety, kids.
Why not directly go for Brian Blessed?
Oh, be awesome. Oh, I'd love to be Brian Blessed, or Brian Blessed to play me. That'd be no. I'd be so honored.
Sabaton!
Yes, I'll phone my agent.
Right, where were we? Dave, you need to keep this on track. My brain isn't working.
Okay, we've done that. Now it's time to chat about Warhammer 40,000.
Warhammer!
Would we like to do our... Would we like to do our Tale of the Four Warlords recap first, or should we do the kind of vague news?
Let's do the news first.
Cool. So
Let's have the disappointing stuff last.
Yeah, let's start strong and then finish like kind of weak. The kind of the I don't know, probably like the two big things that we haven't talked about are Shadespire and Necromunda. So kind of like the more skirmish game kind of stuff has been released. If people aren't familiar with Necromunda, it's
where have you been in the 80s?
Yeah, that's the real question. Like, have you listened to any of the previous episodes? Is Necromunda is kind of like a gang warfare thing in the underhives of Warhammer 40,000 with gangs and they're lads. They all sound like they're from London. It's ridiculous. That came out and seems to be quite successful. I think it came out last weekend as we're recording.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Is anyone kind of interested in that? Because I'm really not interested.
Dave, I am because I'm old. Mike, back me up here.
Necromunda was a big success back in the day, the first version. Really well received with just nerds like ourselves, I would say, that really sort of appreciated the sort of gang aesthetic and the gameplay, which was, it was very different to 40k at the time, where the thing you could also get experience, as far as I remember. So the thing they introduced, that thing where you had characters that could kind of
level up and shit.
Yeah, and that really speaks to us, or the group that I gamed with, that you had your character that sort of hopefully survived and played the next time, and maybe they had some wounds or upgrades and stuff like that. That stuff we love that still to this day.
Also, you didn't have to paint that many models.
Yeah, so like I think you had like the most is like about 10 guys, so it's quite a small scale thing. It's sort of encourages lots of terrain on multiple levels, more so than 40k, where 40k is kind of very existing on a plane. There aren't really height actually kind of like breaks a lot of things in 40k because if things are standing on things that's too high, it just kind of like gets you universal line of sight to everything and everything can see it. So like just big things can just blap things out of the way. But Necromunda is more sort of designed about kind of simulating, gang warfare in a hive world. I'm miffed. I'm annoyed because I thought that's what Shadow War Armageddon was going to be. I thought that they were like not going to reboot Necromunda. I thought they were just going to be like, okay, we're going to take the Necromunda rule set, and then just put it in 40k with your 40k guys, and then I thought that's what they're going to do. But basically, they sort of like released that and then just left it at that. Nothing new has come out for that since the book came out, and now they're doing Necromunda with models I don't really like.
Why? They're amazing looking.
I mean, I'm they're technically very good models. Just none of them are like, man, I want to paint those. There's the Field ones that got announced recently. The other faction, they're a little bit more bland and clean. I quite like those. But other than that, I'm just not excited by it. Oh, really?
I think what we're seeing now is the real sprawl of Games Workshop, where they've kind of dug themselves out of the hole, I think, of being mainly Fantasy Battle and 40k, and all the the legacy games. I remember there was a time where they had the special rules for those still on the site. You could download them.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like here you go, old nerds. If you want to have a little look at your golden age, then it's over here in the corner under the old piece of paper. And then now it seems like they've gone, okay, we can diversify a bit here. And I've I follow the chatter on Twitter as well, and I think the models also, because with more female models, basically it's not a sort of rigid military setting, but
I was gonna say this. I thought this was down Dave's alley. Like, isn't there was that Clan Asher
Ash is like,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Like, it's just I look at them, I'm like, man, they don't have the clean Space Marine lines.
They're not pure boys.
They're not
that
pure
kind of
boys.
thing.
They're a little. They're like grimy. They're like,
Which is probably why I like them.
yeah.
So
Got enough clean shit made.
I don't. I need to build more, Fab.
More Marines. I think it's fair enough that you don't like them, Dave, and we're now living in times where we can happily coexist because we're not forced into having to choose between a couple of lines. There's so much stuff now where, yes, if you want grimy gang warfare, then they've now released that. There's the pure 40k stuff. And
well, we come to your pure boy stuff later, like with the next thing. I mean,
I was a bit kind of concerned that that it wouldn't get support. That like I kind of felt like they kind of put out the boxed games like Gorchos and kind of Silver Tower and they're kind of like clearly like those are kind of clearly one-off things, but like kind of the fear with me was kind of been, they'll release this box, they'll release some lads, and then it's over. But recently, like the other day, I think it was leaked from the next White Dwarf, is that they're bringing out the kind of Blood Bowl season 2 stuff.
And
new
like
rules.
they have Necromunda stuff lined up for the whole next year, I think.
Yeah, I was kind of afraid that like they're going to kind of just release these things and then just like kind of forget about them. But like, it seems like they're going to support them for a lot longer than I was kind of.
I still don't understand why you don't like this. You live in Birmingham, like grimy gang warfare should be like right down your alley.
Yeah, Necromunda, the original one, was basically Birmingham, wasn't it?
Birmingham.
Well, that's the thing. I live it, man. I live this. Like, stab dude, way to work.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Who got stabbed?
I got to stab guys on the way to work. Like, I don't need to simulate that in a game.
What cracks me up is that this has like again like old school dice and templates, which they've just gotten rid of in 40k.
Yeah.
So like they it's interesting that the stuff they do, it doesn't go like it doesn't like the stuff they do in the main games when they change something doesn't go across these, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like
some separate rule set.
The specialist studio, whatever, the same guys that do Blood Bowl, they do stuff more old school apparently.
Yeah.
Feels like that.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Okay, let's talk about your pure boys.
Well, like there was also the Shade.
Yeah, Shadespire, pure boys.
Oh, well, so that's Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, pure boys.
Not all pure boys.
I'm miffed by this. Okay, so I like the whatever hex grid. That looks cool.
Yeah,
but like this is like fucking Age of whatever thing. It's not the old world.
No,
I've been eyeing the old world. I've been really looking like the next thing I'm gonna buy.
It's dead fast.
No, it's Total Warhammer 2, which is the old world. It has Lizard Man. It's amazing.
It's dead, Fab.
No, it's alive. It's alive. As long as I keep it alive in my head, you can't take that from me.
It's like, it's kind of, I want to say it's like more competitive. It's like if you wanted to have like an X-Wing kind of miniatures game, but with Age of Sigmar stuff. So you have the board, you have like characters, you have upgrades, like cards. It's like a deck of cards. And you've got like 5 guys. It seems this would be the sort of like amount of people you feel in the game.
Is it like a burger game?
A burger game?
5 guys.
God damn it. I think it'd be better. Again, this is something that's kind of like, I'm quite excited about the models because there's some really nice, unique models for those kits. But the game itself is kind of just like, I don't see myself playing it just because, like, I'd like to give it a go, but I don't want to be like, oh, we should also play this game because, like, I very rarely get to, it's about once a month I get to play some 40k. I don't want to like spend that time doing some other game that like I'm not as invested in.
There are too many tokens. And why does it have a hex grid when the bases aren't hex?
Because of manufacturing, one would assume that they can make circular bases really cheaply.
I want hex What do you mean? Like, I want hex bases, like in Battletech. They had hex bases ages ago.
But their factories are set up to build them.
we have no, we do not have the manufacturing for the X
Whereas they
bases.
literally have to do nothing additional to make circular bases. They go, okay, cool, there's some circular bases. We're done. We're
I
done here.
think we need a 5-year plan, and I'm gonna nominate Comrade Fab to be the People's Commissioner of hexagon-shaped miniature bases. We can make this happen.
That's kind of like, I wouldn't like it because it's gonna have like sharp edges to it, which will just like rub off when you like play with them.
The music's too loud. The edges are too sharp.
Yeah, like it's just like those are just gonna wear away really quick.
It's bland, Dave.
Continued like repainting.
People, if you have played like BattleTech in the 80s, write in if if the wear and tear on your bases have been so bad that they're now
I
round.
guess you could like varnish them or something, like art coat, and then like Lamian medium them up to make them again. God, that's a lot there. Just too much effort there. So yeah, people seem to be quite liking that. Yeah, as you said, there's like a lot of support for that planned as well. They've got another 4 factions to release in this kind of cycle of stuff.
For fuck's sake, I'm looking at this like on Shadespire, right, on the Games Workshop site.
Mm-hmm.
Their site looks really modern these days, by the way. And then it says recommended paints.
Yeah.
And there are 6 paints recommended.
Yeah.
3 of them are gold.
Yes, because there are Stormcaster. I think I have all 3 of those. That's like Retributor, something,
Armor,
Auric Gold,
Armor Gold,
and
Liberator Gold.
Yeah, I got all those. Bam, done. I'm ready. So they recommend like a Reichland Fleshshade as well.
Reichland Fleshshade, Agrex
Banging.
Earthshade, and Runefang Steel.
Sweet. I have like basically all of that.
And you probably have the blue as well.
I've got Vallejo equivalents, but yeah.
Dispatch the Inquisition.
Did you see the tweet from, I think it was Malkavian, one of our Twitter associates, who finally said goodbye to his 23-year-old pot of Goblin Green that he's been using for 23 years.
Okay, I'll have to look at this.
And
how does he keep that alive?
Yeah, it was just amazing.
That's the thing. Like, so long as you are really kind of rigorous about, making sure you always like close the lid when you're done with it and cleaning out the hinge so it closes properly. Like, they do last quite a long time. Unless you do what I do, and then you accidentally tip like half a pot of the thing I just mentioned, the shiny one, Ardcoat. Unless you spill like half a pot of that over your entire desk. So now my cutting mat is very shiny.
Sorry. Malkavian liked this tweet, but it was
Twitter and it's non-fucking linear thing of like, just here's a thing someone did. Like,
do you have the tweet?
Yeah, it's
put in the show notes. So I can...
Tim Bruns. Yeah, I will maybe just
paste it somewhere, and I'll put it.
No worries. Yeah. But they don't make them like that anymore. Well,
they've changed manufacturers. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think whenever they kind of like I think there'd been at least one change of paint manufacturers, because Citadel don't actually make the paints; they just sort of rebrand them. So yeah, they're literally not the same paint anymore, which is kind of sad.
My God, I found the tweet. Oh my God.
Because like the smell of the paint is just different than I remember as a kid. Like, paints do not smell the same, which probably says something about like me like sniffing the paints.
That is that's like the 90s bottle. God.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's so good, isn't it? So yeah, that's the kind of Shadespire is like happening. Not super excited about that, to be fair. Something I am very excited about is the new Custard Man. The Adeptus Custodes have a new HQ model. I say new HQ model. They have their first HQ model. So if you weren't aware, Adeptus Custodes are like the badass, kind of like slightly more unique versions of Space Marines, and they're a bit better. And
they're cousins to the Space Marines, but they're not. They're not Space Marines. They're
if you say so.
Carry on.
And they're sort of like the Emperor's personal guard, and they're all gold. They're basically like so gold. They're really cool. They're like the purest of the pure. They're like, whoa.
Why don't you need models for those? You can just use those Age of Sigmar models.
Well, they're kind of like Age of Sigmar models don't have Guardian spears. They don't have spears that are also bolt guns, which are pretty fucking rad. But when the Facebook page for Warhammer 40,000 reached 100,000 likes,
100 likes.
Jesus, God, a miles away.
They're
showed-
Geek News Radio. Yeah, we have 100 likes. Here's a model.
They released this photo of Trajan Valoris, who is actually in the Dark Imperium book, I think. He is the really kind of annoying Custodes guy who's like, oh man,
They're all annoying.
Rabute, you're being like super liberal and friendly to people. Why are you hospital? Why would you heal people? He's like that dude. And so he's got a model and he looks really cool. I really like him. He's got a big fucking power axe thing that's also a bolt gun. It's really nice. It's got a big gold eagle on it. It's rad. And I think it's going to go quite nicely with my Custodes, because I picked up 5 Custodes lads from a bloke on Twitter because he was selling them for 20 quid.
Huh.
So I'm going to get that when that comes out. I think it's going to be a plastic kit from like Games Workshop rather than a Forge World kit, which is nice. Yeah, I've got all the gold I need to paint things. So
Of
pretty
course.
excited for that.
As an aside on the Custodes, I can really recommend the latest novel by Chris Wright called The Watchers of the Throne, The Emperor's Legion.
Okay.
And they talk a lot about, well, I haven't finished it yet, but it's basically the story about how they leave the palace to go and wage war again in the 40K era. Because after the Horus Heresy, they kind of seclude themselves, and just, they just remain in the palace.
They're just
study,
reading.
Watch the skies, kind of think about the, the mysteries, and kind of remove themselves a bit from the playing board. And then, obviously, with recent events and being available as models, they have to kind of put them back on the stage. And they also have that with the Sisters of Silence.
Hey, Grandmaster Valorous, it says here there are models coming out from Games Workshop. I think we have to leave the Citadel at last.
At last, and wage war again.
Quite fabulous.
And I have to say though, they've given it to a really good author. Chris Wright is
he's great.
Exceptional at this kind of stuff. He's really the sense of detail is really good. And there's a scene where you nearly get to see the heart of the palace. But it's so good. So I can really recommend it.
Sweet. Is that like a short story, or is it kind of like a?
No, it's a proper novel.
When did that come out?
It's very recent. Last month or something. Yeah.
Sweet. Have you read Ruinstorm?
Yeah, I have.
What's that about? Because I've not read it yet.
This is the end of the Imperium Secundus story arc. Yeah. So obviously, Gilliman, Sanguinius, and Lionel Johnson have realized that doing their own little empire down Gilliman's way was maybe not a good idea because there is somebody on the other side of the Ruinstorm still waiting for them. So basically, they set out with their fleets to try and punch a way through. Basically, the book is about how they make choices to do that, because obviously the Ruinstorm is kind of it's a living entity in a way. It's very interesting the way it's sort of described. Right. I'm not a big fan of David Annandale sort of across the board, but I think he's done pretty well with this book actually. And there's most of the focus is on Sanguinius, because there's a lot of foreshadowing about his fate, and he has visions about his death and things like that, which sort of foreshadows the Black Rage as well. So they're sort of tying together some some loose ends, and you can see they're squarely beginning to line up the Siege of Terror, and sort of getting to.
Does Ruinstorm explain where the Ultramarines are during the Siege of Terror then?
I know you put that on Twitter or somewhere like that, but they're not that far in the story yet, so it's being lined up. You want to put it like that. And there's something about, I've noticed that even Gilliman, that all of the Primarchs are sort of tempted by things related to chaos or sort of dubious choices and things like that. And as we know, Lionel Johnson,
lies.
Practically the head of a traitor legion.
Lies. Don't listen to that writer guy. Lies.
So there's a lot of foreshadowing with little sort of things that are put into the story that I think will be quite significant with regards to, for example, Gilliman, that he obviously takes a very long sleep at a certain point, which I think there are certain elements of this story that lines up how he's gonna die, basically, or be terminally wounded or whatever it is that happens. So you can see them working really on the detail level, and it's a good book. I enjoyed it, but it's a little bit clunky sometimes.
Oh dear.
On the, I mean, he's had to sort of grapple with the fact that it's like this 1,000 light year, like thousands and thousands of light years size chaos warp storm that is kind of alive, and how do you fly 3 huge Space Marine Legion Astartes fleets through that? I mean, so it's a difficult subject matter, but I was happy enough with it because it answers something, puts other stuff up as tantalizing sort of cliffhangers.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a go because I've been working through. I finally finished the Laundry File series, so I've read 8 books or something ridiculous of that, and then
so now you can go over to Warhammer shit again.
Well, I've been reading a book recommended by Owen. It's from the Southern Reach trilogy, and the first one's called Annihilation. I've read that one, and then the second one's called Authority. I'm sort of plugging my way through that one. After that, I don't know what I'm going to read. It'll probably be some more things about Space Marines rather than non-Space Marine fiction, which I've been reading for the last 6 months.
Yep. If you want a few other pointers, there are quite a few Inquisitor stories coming out at the moment that they're starting. So John French has started an arc called the Harusian Wars.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's annoyingly similar to Horus, so I got confused.
Yeah. And he's using his Inquisitor Covenant character, which I think he had some books out some years ago. So he returns the it's intrigue on the throne world kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sorry.
I like those kind of stories.
Guys, I don't want to rain on your Warhammer parade, right? But you are aware that Persepolis Rising is coming out on December the 5th, right?
Yeah, it's true. I should probably read that, shouldn't I?
Don't forget about that. I'm just saying.
I'm still on Triple Burn, but I'm doing the audiobooks, so I can kind of do both. I'm putting money on both horses.
Ah,
yeah, that kind of
double barreling it.
Nice.
But yeah, enjoying Triple Burn a lot. So
Sweet.
Get that finished. Yeah,
that is a good book.
Nice. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the butt plug.
The what?
Have you not seen the painting handle?
Yes.
What?
You ordered
Games
dubious looking paraphernalia.
Is that from Games Workshop?
It's from Games Workshop. It's the Citadel model handle or something ridiculous. So when Joe was on
Citadel painting handle. Yeah, he had a thing. My God, that looks like a butt plug.
Yes. So he was talking about a something like weird kind of imported kind of cork handle thing for holding models. And I was like, oh man, I'd really like one of those, but it was like out of stock everywhere. And they were kind of like, they just done a Kickstarter to make a new one. I missed out on that. And like, I don't think they've shipped those either yet. And then like the last sort of round of releases, the Games Workshop were like, oh, and there's a painting handle. And it's fucking great. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, you can have a butt plug and have a Space Marine on the other end.
Yeah, so basically the idea of it, it's got like two little kind of pincers that you can separate, and you can slot basically any reasonable, normal kind of size model from like infantry up to kind of like sort of standard HQ into it, and then it becomes kind of like something so you can hold the model without like touching the
Look,
paint.
Ma, I've got Gilliman in my butt.
You can't fit Gilliman in it. He is too big.
He tried.
He's too big.
Someone will try, Dave.
Someone will try, and they're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, they're gonna end up in an emergency room somewhere.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, like, this is great. It's also like £5, which is probably like the most reasonably priced games work have put out in 20 years.
Wow.
Because like it's good. Like I got one because I only ever paint one model at a time.
You only have one butt.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too, obviously. But like, I quite a few people on Twitter have bought like multiple of them. So they like when they're painting a squad, they just put all on them. So like 5 or 10 of them. I just put them all on there, so they can just swap between the two. Because it's a little bit fiddly to put the base onto the sort of platform. It's really
Already
good.
out of stock online?
Yes, it's ridiculous. I ended up ordering mine from the Outpost, which is a Sheffield-based like wargame store. But they had stock issues as well, because basically everyone was like, "This is an amazing idea. I'll order 10 because they're so cheap." So yeah.
Yeah.
I hopefully there'll be some more out for Christmas because they're like really good. I'm really enjoying it. I think like it's helping me do really kind of neat edge highlights, which previously I've had like a lot of difficulty. Which is cool.
Awesome. Must invest in that, yeah.
Yeah, get one of those. And this is one for Fab to get. The Dark Angel and Blood Angel codexes have been announced.
Wow, Angels of Death.
Yeah, the Angels of Death are back.
Does it say that the Dark Angels are traitors in there? Is it like a Chaos Space Marine book?
Page 1, they're just bad guys. No, so they aren't out yet, but I think they're out. Is it this weekend?
I like that model.
That shall I read the intro from Codex Dark Angels?
Go for it.
Coming out. Yeah. Dark Angels are a chapter of stubborn and intractable warriors facing the foes of the Imperium across the length and breadth of the galaxy. But for all their battle honors, the Dark Angels hide a secret that dates back to the Horus Heresy. A stain on their honor, they will do anything to one day expunge. There you go. It's official.
Nice.
Legion confirmed.
Traitors one and all.
Well, we know that they have a stain on their honor. That doesn't say that mean they're traitors. Where do you got that from?
Oh, the latest White Dwarf that has the Codex Dark Angels and Codex Blood Angels, which is available for pre-order on the 2nd of December.
I like so I'm looking at the Warhammer community site, right? And they have 2 models, a Blood Angel and a Dark Angel.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the Dark Angel model. It doesn't look like a Primaris. Because I guess the robes.
Yeah.
The Blood Angels model looks much more like a Primaris Marine.
Yes, they are Primaris Marines. So those kits are kind of like the normal Primaris kits, but they just come with the chapter upgrade packs to give them like different kind of twiddly bits.
Yeah, but the Dark Angels one, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I like the look.
The Dark
more.
Angels one looked really Dark Angels-y. The Blood Angels one kind of just looks like a red Ultramarine.
That is weird. I find it a bit weird that the Dark Angels Codex has the same image as the last one.
It's the same for the Blood Angels, I think. It was the same one as
they've not updated the images because they're just nice images.
Yeah, I really like that image. It's
But
weird.
it is kind of weird that they've not like done it.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to get a Codex.
Yeah, do it, man. It's great. Also, this weekend, the chapter approved comes out, so that's kind of like it's got apocalypse rules, they've clarified a couple of things. They've got some rebalanced points as well in it. So I'm kind of expecting Bobby G to get a points increase because he's ludicrous, and basically every army is trying to run him right now because he's bonkers.
I love that model of the. It looks like a Catachan jungle fighter. On an orc. It has like the swords like.
It's the new slime mob.
Oh yeah,
there is a new model of him coming out.
That is a great model. It has like a sword like in an orc's head, and then there's like a Venus fly trap.
Ridiculous kind of like face going on.
Love that model. It's a lovely model.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I'll have to get that codex since I have now like the cupboard I built has like a display thing in the top which has all my codexes and rule books in it.
Cool.
Sorry, Mike, you were saying.
Yeah, I was going to say for noobs like me, there is now the easy to build Primaris Redemptor Dreadnought.
Yes.
This kit has all the stature and detail of the multi-part version, but in just 12 parts, which you can assemble without any glue.
That is weird. So they have the same kit, but it's not posable.
Yeah. So Tom Walton on Twitter was saying that they basically started with the design of the Redemptor Dreadnought in its full kind of glory, and then worked out how to sort of reduce the total number of parts that you'd need to assemble. So it was kind of like retrofitted to be an easy build, which is kind of cool. I quite like that. For people who are kind of like too lazy to build the thing.
I'm looking at it and going like, yeah, if I painted that red, it'll all be good.
Yeah, it's a really nifty kit actually to build.
Paint it red, it's faster. I like those Plague Marine models. They're great. One of them is like has a really nice laugh. It's amazing.
Yeah,
the other one is just like tentacle head.
Yes, the Plague Marines are kind of like ridiculously.
They're
weird.
cool. The Nurglings are really nice as well. They're
going kind of like really kind of comical with them as well. Which is like
that's what they should be, right?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I dig them. And then there's also another God, is it Lord Castellan? Yeah, Lord Celestin. From the Age of Sigmar, she has got a cool hammer and sword, and her cape is not made of hammers, which is an improvement, I think. Because the original one that they released has a cape that's kind of like got all these kind of like long strips, and at the end of them there are hammers, and it just kind of looks a bit stupid. It's kind of an improvement, I think, and that kind of like the circular Sigmarine shields. They're kind of cool.
Huh. Yeah. Nice models.
Yep, lots of good stuff coming, but of course it's the Christmas season, so they need to feed the machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the
wallet sucking machine.
So they've been releasing the kind of army bundles that are roughly 1,000 points.
They've got no chance. My wallet's all empty from the Steam sale.
That's the thing. Like, there's nothing kind of new there. There's just like some vague deals. Some of the armies don't really like make sense. Like the Sigmarine ones have like a load of those dog models, which are kind of terrible. They're like ridiculously overcosted for the game. Yeah, that's kind of like I think pretty much all of the release stuff that's happened. I just wanted to say that I beat friend of the show Icarus at Warhammer 40,000. We played in Sheffield on a tiny kitchen table, and I demolished his Imperial Fists with my Ultramarines.
They didn't have enough walls. I take it.
They didn't have enough walls, but actually, no, I used a tank as a wall. I kind of.
I believe the Codex Astartes does not support this action.
I kind of just blocked. He has a Forge World Dreadnought, the ones with like the big autocannon thingies, and I kind of like managed to block it off so it couldn't advance down sort of like a corridor kind of thing by just like parking the tank sideways in a sort of drifting manner, which proved to be quite good.
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo
with the
drifting,
Rhino.
Tokyo drifting it was a Vindicator around and then just like blocking it.
You can actually do that with a tank, but I think only on concrete. Because they actually slide quite well sideways, I think.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly viable to use tanks as no obstructions. Yeah.
Well, I think if Joe was here, he was gonna tell you that the tank's not a wall, not a proper wall.
Didn't call it a wall.
I would like someone to give me feedback whether or not like I can put my tank sideways. If I can put it on its side to act as a better wall, like where in the rules does it say the model has to like have its tank tracks on the ground? That's what I want to know. So if I can put it sideways, it's just like some good cover. That'd be
okay, we're beginning to enter into gamesmanship. I think. I think the political term is gerrymandering. Is it? Or,
it would be bad. I wouldn't actually do that.
Stand
but I'd
back. We got a rule, nerd.
I was just sitting there like, man, I could put it on its side. I don't think there's anywhere that like says that vehicles have to be like put the correct way around.
You put them all on end and lean them.
Yeah, it's like on end and build an actual like wall of
Cadillac Ranch, just with rhinos.
Exactly. And then that leads us kind of neatly on to our hobby progress.
Yes. We will have to talk about this. So our original goal, I believe, was the middle of December, end of December?
End of December, kind of, around soon.
I don't know.
There's still time.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we'll have to extend the deadline.
I have thought of this, actually. And I think we should put it out to our listeners and ask for their mercy and clemency, and maybe maybe bring a forfeit to the table and ask for what should the Vier Feldherren do as a forfeit to sort of make up for the fact that they have not met their targets.
Well, just to kind of show up people who have not made their targets, Nicholas in Discord and like listener man, he joined in. He's been posting photos of him doing his Imperial Fists, and I asked him how much progress he'd made, and he didn't specifically commit to anything, but he's pretty much finished the Space Marines from the Dark Imperium set. Apart from the two lieutenants and the captain, which he's working on right now. And other than that, he's refurbishing some of his old Dire Avengers that he painted in high school. So that's cool. I think he's done more than Fab.
Okay, I'll start off. I haven't done anything since we spoke last time. I have built the hobby table.
The hobby table?
Yeah, the room and the table is now ready. I could start to paint tomorrow, but yeah.
You could do it, Fab.
I have some hope. I actually have, as we record this, I have next week off.
Oh.
And I might try to paint something.
Sweet.
I'll probably have to get some tips how that guy like revived his Goblin green or whatever, because I think my paints are looking like that as well.
Oh dear.
I'm sure in his hour of grief, you could maybe put in a wee comment going like, how did you manage to nurse your Goblin green for this amount of time? And he'll tell you.
They've changed the name 3 times in the time that you've had that.
It's incredible. Yeah, well, I mean, Fab, you're still in the running then. If we're saying 31st of December, that's like we could even make a competition among ourselves that the wooden spoon has to do something unspeakable. We can leave that up to the listeners. I don't know. It's this me talking about mine? Yeah. So I fell down the rabbit hole of going. Let's look in the books to see which kind of combinations of Empire armies we can actually make now that they can use their, code words and all that. So instead of actually painting, I started building also stuff like Death Watch squads. I made a custom-made Inquisitor with like a psychic force hammer, out of one of my old Space Marine captains, and some Death Watch parts. And
Nice.
I started building Sisters of Silence because I wanted to do something against the psychers that I meet usually in the group that I play against, and on it went. And I have all these assembled models now, and I haven't painted very much.
It's amazing.
I've assembled all the Primaris Marines from the set, and I've sprayed them red, and then they're just there, right? So I'm completely like, and actually this leads very well into what happened to me the last time I played, because I lost both games, and it's because I forgot to actually follow the objectives, right? Because I think I was riding on a little bit of confidence wave where I was like, right, okay, last few times I've won, so obviously I have a good sort of mix of units and all that, and then you start sort of going to see if you can wipe out squads that are actually not close to an objective or something like that, just because you can. And obviously your opponents have moved on and sort of built their squads, and they are going for the objectives, and then you will lose. So my eyes dropped from the ball, both on the gaming field and in the Vier Feldherren.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's really bad. And actually the other day I was near my hobby desk again, and to my shock and horror there was like cobwebs across it, and I was like, okay, how long was it since I sat down?
Mike, that's
Yes.
unacceptable.
And I know it's really bad, so that's why I'm frustrating myself in front of the entire listener group and the 3 Feldherren in this esteemed group, and I'm willing to take nearly any forfeit on just to motivate me to. So
Well, yeah, Joe has
do
been
your
in
worst.
a very similar position. He took on an Eldar commission for a guy, and I think he finished that, and then the guy wanted more, and Joe is like doing up his kitchen with the money from the commission. So he's not done any of his commitments either. So that's
But he's made some money, the
he
bastard.
has made some money, so I feel he's got the moral victory here. Whereas I have made
He's made money, he's got the moral victory. There's something's wrong there.
capitalism. It's good. I looked up what I committed to back in was it June? It was June. I said I would paint Bobby G, a 10 Marine Stern, 2 10 Marine Stern Guard squads, a Rhino kit, a Vindicator, and a Predator. And the Vindicator and the Predator were going to be magnetized, so you could turn them into Rhinos. Well, I think I mentioned on the last show, I've kind of undone that idea. They are magnetized in the sense that you can configure them as Predators and Vindicators. The amount of effort it took to build them in such a way to make them transform was entirely not worth it. And in fact, the Vindicator kit was terrible. You couldn't really play with it because it was so delicate.
I don't understand why you want to do that anyway. The only thing you want to do is put your tank on the side. I mean,
yeah,
weapons don't seem to matter.
It was just so fiddly to play with that I ended up like kind of really simplifying the amount of magnetization in the Sternguard guys. From like, God, there was a ludicrous amount of magnets. There were like 6 magnets in some guys. Because like each shoulder you could swap out all the arms, and then like the guns were separate from the hands, so you could put different guns in different
you went
hands.
down another rabbit hole there.
Yeah, I went down that kind of rabbit hole. What I ended up doing is kind of just solidifying that the shoulders were glued in place and the guns would just be interchangeable. So that was just like a pair of magnets that did that. But I kind of like went on a bit of a tangent in that like the army I wanted to do sort of kind of changed a bit. So initially that was the kind of initial commitment I made. And I think that's going to be about think that's like 1,000 points, maybe. I changed that up almost immediately because I wanted to have another HQ choice. So I bought a normal Space Marine captain, and I painted him. He's painted. He's done. Good. I then painted 20 Stern Guard Marines. I then went along and painted another 10. So I've done 30.
30 Stern Guard.
That took a very long time. I have since kind of the whole kind of process took, like, I started off doing the kind of like, okay, base coat at dark blue and then layer on like a lighter blue so that you kind of get the recessed bits with the darker blue. And then just kind of at the end I gave up, and you sort of just like spray all the dark blue and then you sort of dry brush the lighter blue in to give the kind of like effect I was going for. So it kind of sped up towards the end. The Stern Guards have so many bits of like random kind of like gold and like not ribbons, like braided rope things and like pendants and like ridiculous finial stuff on their shoulders. Like by the end, I was glad to see the back of them.
Okay, shall we just say that Dave's won?
Then I painted the Rhino, so the Rhino's done. That's finished. And then I kind of went a bit bonkers. I bought 2 Primaris Captain models, and I painted those. Initially, I painted one as a captain, and kind of one I was going for like vaguely a lieutenant, because you can't buy lieutenant models separately. They only come as part of the Dark Imperium box set. But then I decided I really liked the lieutenant models, so I ordered both of those from eBay, and I've painted one of those, and one of them is currently in model thing, and I've been painting that this evening. So there's one lieutenant
This evening,
finished. And then I thought, man, I quite like the Primaris Ancient, the guy with the banner. So I bought him off eBay, and I've painted him, and I did some freehand, tried to do some freehand like writing of like Sicarius, because I'm kind of going for like a second company feel, and obviously Sicarius is like lost in the warp right now, so we'll never forget Cato Sicarius. He is the best of us. And then I was like, oh man, intercessors are really cool. So I bought 15 of them, and I've painted 5 of them. So that's a third of that done. I've done Rebute Gilliman. He's done.
Okay, he's won. It's all over.
Then I painted a Predator, because that was actually on the list of things to do. I thought, shit, better do that. And I got a Razorback as well, because Bants. I painted that. And then I think this was like during this time, the Redempted Dreadnought came out, so I bought and painted that as well. And that's all the painting I've done since June. Apart from I also painted one Tyranid guy and some Stormcast guys.
Right, so we'll give Dave the golden pure boy statue, and you can put it on the mantelpiece, and then it's between the 3 remaining ones who will, not get the wooden spoon. Will that be the objective, wouldn't it?
Who will paint one model before the end of December?
I think it might be between it might be between you and I, Fab. I have a feeling.
I guess Joe's still on the commission and he's earning money.
Numerically, I think Joe still wins. He has done a ludicrous amount of Eldar, and each of those guys have like 10 warpstones on them, and it's like they look amazing. Like, to be fair, like they look so good, and they look so much better than those sodding Noblars, because they're not orcs. That's why they look better. But like, I do not envy the amount of gemstones he's been painting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mike, it's between you and me.
Yeah, who can post a photo of completed lad?
Dust off
quickest.
One or more.
Post a photo of it like unpainted, and then like first person to paint it quickest time to completion. And it's got to be minimum 3 colors.
Simple and fair. I like it.
Yeah, minimum 3 colors. You know me, right?
You're gonna go like, oh man, dry brush red, dry brush blue, dry brush green. Bam, done.
So it has to be plastic, not base coated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, so like, I think Fab, you've actually got everything.
Yeah, mine are all base coated. Let's start from a base coat.
If we go, start from base coat.
Base coat. So
base
is
coat
base
to
coat
something
not
you
just
put
black,
in.
but
Well,
red?
well, mine are all black, but you can start with red. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Happy days.
Basically, what you need to do, you got till next week to get this done, because there's no way I can do anything before Monday. But on Monday, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to tear my hands away from XCOM, which my brain keeps saying is it's 40k, right? It's squad combat. This is 40k. I'm going to tear myself away from the computer, and I'm going to paint one of those kind of Space Marine fuckers.
So yeah, like
Traitors.
I think Fab, you should pick up like one Primaris lad, because they are like so not. I'm not gonna say simple, but they're so like clean. They don't have loads of fucking tiny random bits. That
I
need,
like fucking tiny random bits.
They take forever to paint.
Yes, but that's it. Yes, I don't care. I don't mind.
In
mind
30 guys that are really
Dave,
intricate. Like
my problem,
the Primaris simplicity is so lovely.
My problem is not that I need that there are details on the model. My problem is actually sitting down and starting to paint. That's what I need to do. I don't need more models. I need to finish one of those fucking models, and I will do that next week.
Excellent.
I have the added complication that on Wednesday I am flying off to Brunei for 9 days. So
There's such things. So if you can't beat Fab by Wednesday, then Fab has like an additional 9 days, then beat you.
that is correct.
Meta. It's good. I like this.
This is like watching two turtles trying to make their way towards the finishing line.
To get David Attenborough to narrate this.
And one turtle is sort of busy at like a console over in the corner where it's trying to find where he can put in the coin to start it, right? And the other one is sort of going, oh dear, there's a salad leaf. I might be able to get it in 2 days, but then it means going to the left. Then I can't go straight. That's us, Fab. It's like, God. Ugh. Right. We must do this. We must do this for our listeners.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's
Talk to
all
you
the
on
thought
Twitter
take out.
then.
That's the feedback time. You
Yes.
have a question for the listeners, Fab. This is inverse feedback.
Yeah, this is inverse feedback. So I want to know, for Christmas, I'm going to buy a gaming monitor.
Yeah,
Because
define what that means. What does that mean?
Well, I have 2 monitors right now.
Mhm.
And they're different monitors. They're different sizes. They have different colors. Like, I can't get them to calibrate.
I would be freaking out.
And I've had them for 2 years, ever since I built the gaming PC, because I said, I spent too much money on the gaming PC. I'm not going to buy a monitor. I'm going to do that later. Well, 2 years later, I'm still using those shitty monitors. So I first thought I'm going to buy 2, I don't even know what size these are. But I think, I have no idea what size these are. But I said I basically just want to buy 2, and 2 of the same put next to each other. But then at Gamescom, I saw this amazing, I think a Samsung. It's like a curved, ultra wide.
Those ones.
It's
right,
like,
okay.
it's not 16 by 9. It's like, I don't know, 24 by 6 or something.
Yeah, it's ludicrously widescreen.
Yeah. And that was an amazing monitor. And it's basically as big as the 2 as I have. So it would fit perfectly on my desk.
How
But
much
it's
does it cost, though?
it's like €1,000 or something.
Not worth.
Well, it's worth. Well, I just don't want to spend that much.
Fab, you could buy a Titan for that.
Yeah, which I then won't paint. No. So I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to spend that much. But if any of our listeners knows a good gaming monitor that is big, that is basically could replace 2 normal sized ones, maybe it'll be a little bit smaller. I don't need 4K. Although I don't think I need 4K. I just want a nice big monitor with nice colors. That's good for gaming. If you If you've bought one recently and really like it, it can be like ultra widescreen. I really like that because that's what I want. I basically want,
You want the €1,000 one, but you just don't want to spend €1,000.
Yeah, and I want it to be wide because I'd also work on this.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be that high. If I buy a 16:9 one, that's as wide as my desk. It's just going to be very tall as well.
Yeah,
and I don't need that anyway. If you think that the Samsung one's the only one it's worth anything, just tell me on Twitter. Foxtrot Alpha Bravo Sierra Hotel. You have for AdFab. Tell me what you think.
Indeed.
I have a gaming side note as well from one of our listeners, Sabata,
Yep.
whom you remember. Yeah, he spoke to me on Discord at some point to ask if we could maybe set up some kind of Geek News radio gaming group or find a game that we could sort of multiplayer.
Yeah, we should do that. We used to have that on Steam, but it never... We need to do that. We should basically do that in Discord, right?
Yeah, I think we should pick a game and then try to play that, something kind of that. Do a poll, what's the most common game people have? Because it might end up being something like Rocket League, which is
yeah, he
cool.
suggested Rocket League or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Fortnite, Magicka.
Oh, Magicka! I'm gonna veto Magicka because it's a clusterfuck.
Okay.
Okay, that's that then. Yeah, let's do that in the Discord. Is Zavada in the Discord?
I believe so.
He is, yeah.
I think he is, yeah. He is. I can see him. He's online right now. Yeah, let's do that in Discord. I think that's a great idea. He's, by the way, he sent Dave and me those displayed metal posters. I've got a Dark Angels First Legion one and over my desk right now. Yeah, not a Traitor Legion. Fuck you.
18 Legion things behind me. It's great. I also met him at the Sabaton gig in January as well. At the one in London, not the one in Dublin.
We should do that, yes.
Yes. We
got feedback from Twitter.
Yeah, the important Twitters.
Basically, Dan, who you might know from Linux Outlaws, has been... He's been doing Floss Weekly again.
Yes.
So people have been shouting at him to do Geek News Radio.
He has, yeah. And he also wrote quite a good blog post on the kind of tech stuff that he's been doing. And man, he knows so much.
He knows shit about tech.
These are just words. I don't understand what's going on. These all sound like very not Microsoft technology.
We need him on the show for that. But as he's also wrote on his blog, he's been going through some really rough shit.
Yes.
So I don't want to pressure him. But I just wanted everybody to know, we know that you'd like him on the show. So do we. When he's ready, we're not going away. We're here.
Yeah, we're here. Proud.
I'm already looking forward to the show where he schools Dave on
he's
programming.
Dave, I've heard you're a big fan of Microsoft. Shit. I've been rumbled.
Yeah.
Then we had 2 bits of feedback in the Discord. First one is from Pepper J, and it's about when we were moaning about the tent.
The fucking break at work tent.
Yeah, the break pod.
Makes me angry if you just mention it.
Pepper J says, I'm so happy about the tent hate. You take the words right out of my mouth. And also, if feedback is still appreciated for the 50th, congrats on making it this far while still having listeners.
Barely.
Do it in despite of the listeners.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then Nicholas says, yep, I agree. So this is kind of in response to Pepper J, saying GNR is my favorite podcast, which means a lot since I have around 30 in my feed.
Wow.
That's good. We're at least 29 from the bottom of the league. I can't even tell you why exactly. I guess it's just relaxing and fun to listen to your bants. We also enjoy the community we got here, small as it may be. Keep it up. And now to boil your piss and trigger a rant or two, please imagine Elon Musk drinking a whiskey sour with an egg white. Cheers. So this is you getting annoyed by Elon Musk and me. White shouldn't be in cocktails.
Yeah, I have to admit that my favorite cocktail place here
It's called Elon Musk, and it's run by Elon Musk.
No, it's called the Boiler Man.
Okay.
But it does a really nice whiskey sour with egg white. It's great.
Sweet.
They should call I should lobby them to call the drink Elon Musk.
Nice.
Call it Elon's Musk.
Ooh.
That's grim. I would not drink that.
Ooh.
Ooh. Nasty fat. That's gross. And that's the feedback. If you'd like to send us feedback, probably the best place is the Discord. It's been like super active over the last week. We've had lots of chats.
Even I've been in there sometime.
Even Fab's been in there. We've had chats about, painting Warhammer, about Eldar.
German politics or something.
German politics, and I was comparing it to Power Rangers. Because there's the SPD, who are Space Patrol Delta Power Rangers series.
You know, my dad used to be like he used to run the SPD, like kind of, I don't know, what do you call that?
He used to run Power Rangers. Was he the
basically? You know when you have like a local parliament thing, like for a city.
Oh right, like local council kind of thing.
In the council, you know how they have like a. When a party has like a delegation for that, they're collectively, what they're called collectively. God.
I know what you mean. I can't think of that.
I need a dictionary. 1 second. Apparently, it's called a fraction in English as well. So my father used to run the SPD council thing in Duisburg for years.
Oh, cool.
So yes, he's a Power Ranger.
He's a Power Ranger. So yeah, we've had lots of chats about that, jokes, all sorts of stuff. It's good shit. But if you don't feel like doing that, you can email us at gnr@sixgun.org. We have the joint Twitter account, which is at Geek News Radio. Fab's already mentioned his username, but he is
at Fabs Foxtrot Alpha Bravo Sierra Hotel. Tell me about monitors.
Yes. There's also Mike. Mike, what's your username?
It's at Mike MJ.
Sweet. And I'm at Mega Slippers. That's Mega Slippers. So you can spell that yourself. Mention Discord. We have the YouTube where the show goes up. Yeah. I don't think there were any additional comments from YouTube. I didn't check the last episode. But
oh, damn. I forgot about that.
It's a rare occurrence. And as far as I know, there have been no more iTunes. So please don't rate and review us on iTunes.
Oh, Mike,
that's too cool.
Yes, do. We need that for some reason.
Oh shit, no! Patreon and iTunes reviews. We're turning into every other.
If you like egg white in your drink, reviews on iTunes.
Yeah, 5 stars only, please.
Mike's been retweeting Warhammer shit while we're doing the show.
Outright. I mean, I've been painting Warhammer, so.
Oh,
while we're doing the show,
burn.
What?
I did a joke.
You've been painting while we're doing the show?
When you've painted like 50 Marines, it doesn't actually take any brain power. It's just like a thing I do passively.
You've been painting while we're telling you how we weren't painting?
Yeah.
He wasn't even joking.
You fucking striver. You fucking...
Yeah. Streber, yeah, that's the Danish word as well. Like, yeah.
Streber.
The Dave do good all the time, man.
Mummy's favorite.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's showing us up all the time. I think he should just have his own podcast. Really.
Oh God, no, it'd be terrible.
Painting. Dave's painting podcast.
Like
Listen to Dave
when no one
paint.
watches.
Yeah, that would actually be good podcast. Like you listen to it while you paint, and the guy who does the podcast paints as well. That always remember to fine coats.
Video paints. Put some on your palette so you can control the brush better.
It's like hack the brush strokes.
Oh,
sounds like a band name. Oh God.
Okay.
I think that's it.
That was a great show. We'll see you when we'll get back together.
Yeah.
We'll present the result of Mike's and my shootout for last place.
It's like the quick paint, like the quick draw.
I would more say like a Mexican standoff with turtles.
Nice. Right. Hack the planet or hack the paintbrush.